If you love me, please don't judge me. Got my hands tied, the power's above me. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just a puppet here. If you wanna place blame, then look to the puppeteer. Family, fortune, envy, jealousy, privilege, passed on, legacy, secret, sabotage, borderline, felony, suicide, subtract, selfish, pedigree. When the love's gone and the hate's there, better watch out, cause it's cake fear. When your family ain't your family, and your legacy is just a name there. And your mother's
Welcome back to the We Was Watching podcast. I'm your host, Brandon C.
I'm your other, Brandon C.
Yeah, Brandon C.
And I'm your other host, Chanel C.
And we are back for episode 3 of season 2 of Severance. Who's Alive? Which was an excellent episode. Chanel, I haven't seen Chanel this excited for episode in a while.
It was so good. I loved it. I wasn't bored ever.
So I'm very excited for that. But before we get into the episode, those of you listen to us on podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, you can leave us a review. If it's 5 stars, we'll read it on the show. We appreciate all of those reviews that we get. You can also watch us streaming live on YouTube, where we are right now at youtube.com/@WeWasWatching. Please go to our channel, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can see us go live and interact with us in the chat. We got some people in the chat already. You can also email the show at WeWasWatchingPodcast@gmail.com. Tell us your theories about Severance, upcoming, what you're expecting, what you liked about the last episode, and we'll read that.
We both have decent ones. I have a theory I think it's better than Brandon's. I don't know how serious it is.
I mean, I've been right more than Chanel, but I was really wrong this episode, so I'll even have to admit that I was wrong.
Okay,
which
great.
Never rarely happens. It doesn't happen, but I'll admit it. And then
I would love for somebody to count how many times I've been right since the beginning. That's what I would need you to go back to start from the beginning and make a tally.
You can also follow us on social media at We Was Watching on Twitter and Blue Sky. I don't think we got any reviews or emails this week. So
No, but thank you guys for the reviews.
Thank you guys for the reviews. Let's get some more. I see all the listeners. So I know we got some new listeners for Severance. So drop us a review. It helps us out a lot if you like what we're doing.
Please do. And also, we're on a journey to 500 subscribers on YouTube. So click that thing. It doesn't cost you anything. You know, in the early days of YouTube, I used to think subscribing was a fee. So I didn't subscribe to a lot of channels because I was like, what's that going to do? So you can subscribe. I know you know this now. Share with your friends. Sign into your other Gmail, subscribe real quick. And then, because sometimes we get feedback on the podcast and people say we're unprofessional. And to that, I say, what profession is this? I'm doing this for free. So the day that we start getting monetized, I will eat before we record. That is the day I will change. Well, also, what do you do different to your face?
Nothing.
Did you shave differently?
Nope. The same thing.
No, something different.
Do y'all see Chanel got her Claire Underwood on this episode? Like she's about to go.
I do look like I'm running. I'm jogging outside.
Running outside with the Secret Service.
I got my Lumen Ice on too. This shit is shiny. I wonder if it's like ruining somebody's camera, but I got my Lumen drop because I am a Lumenite.
Who Chanel's rooting for in this show? Just so y'all know.
Oh, honestly, they tried to get me empathetic for Milchick today. They really was fucking with me today.
So now you see my shirt? You ever heard of this TV show? You ever heard of this? You heard that TV show before?
You're so disrespectful. You're actively disrespectful. Okay, again.
I don't know. Sometimes you don't know the old shows and you don't know the black shows. This is an old and a black show. Okay. So I don't know.
Every once in a while there's somebody new listening. So Brandon likes to joke that I'm young and that I don't know anything about black people, which is the opposite of the truth. So that's why he just asked me, for those who are listening, if I know what Sanford and Son is, which is... Let's start the show because it's so ridiculous.
We got a few chats. So those of you listening on podcast, we're about to talk about a few chats that we got in here. We got Tommy saying, was that Brianna Tarf? It was Brianna Tarf. Yeah. Absolutely. Gwendolyn Christie. Sir Gwendolyn. Is it Sir? Do they call the women Sir over there? Isn't she a knight? Do they call the knight Sir?
I don't remember it, but I think that was the whole thing.
Yeah, so that was her. And what else do we got? Not a House of Cards reference by DJ Rated R. That's right. House of Cards. Great show till it wasn't.
Hey Teddy, hey Code Knox.
Code Knox,
hey,
that you felt bad for Milchick and his balloons. Chanel, you don't understand how she works. This is the type of person she roots for. Seth Milchick. That is a Chanel special right there.
Hold on one second. I'm feeling bad for Seth Milchick because they gave this man a blackface portrait and to start Black History Month. That's what I felt for him. But Code Knox is trying to try me. He doesn't think I saw this message. Code Knox just said, if I know Sanford and Sons, hum the theme song. Are you? Yeah, why are you getting people? You're getting people. You're gaslighting people.
You see, she filibustering.
People are going to take you seriously.
You see, she filibustering. She don't know it. No, she's playing it. She got headphones on. Y'all can't hear. She's playing it. She went to YouTube. She played the song while you asked it so that she could give y'all the hum to prove that she knew it. I can see her hands moving.
Oh my God. I'm not dignifying this. I'm not dignifying this. I'm not doing this. Y'all know I know what the fuck. I saw Sanford and Son and I saw All in the Family. Okay. I love TV. So anyway, I will say though, a side note on the Claire Underwood reference. Did you finish House of Cards?
No, I stopped when all the stuff came out.
Oh,
because I'm woke.
Even though they took him off the show, so it sounds like when he left, you boycotted.
I'm woke like you. I'm woke and like you.
No, when he left, you boycotted. You didn't want to watch when a woman was bleeding. That's what I'm hearing.
Unlike you, I don't support people like that.
Answer that directly. No, I actually did finish it. It took a turn, but like whatever. TV's hard to write, I guess. But I used to go hard for House of Cards. Like I love that little dark twisted couple. Thank you, DJ Rated R. He does stay playing in my face. That's why I'm not paying no attention to this man. Okay, and then Tommy Franklin, there was a comment about Milchick. The
I'm
Natalie?
saving that. I'm saving those comments till we get to that
Um,
section because I got something special for you this episode.
Okay, you know what? The chat has my back.
That's right. Bo King. These are my Dylan G glasses. Why y'all hating? I'm Dylan. These are my Dylan G glasses I got for the show.
Tommy Franklin in chat says, why does Brandon look like he just lost an audition for a role to play Bokeem Woodbine? And it's because he changed his facial hair and he's acting like he didn't. I might just have to look at old streams.
What you talking about? Chanel, what did you think about this episode since you're so excited for it?
I thought it was so wonderful. So we had a great episode, and then also, side note, we also got a Beyonce tour. So we had it was just a great weekend. So I am excited about
I don't celebrate culture vultures. Sorry.
I'm excited about the fact that we're like getting just into the intrigue of it all. Like last episode was the first time we just got more outy kind of like awareness, and now I think we're just getting deeper into the plot of it. And I just I did not have a boring moment in this. Like I didn't have any moments in this show where I felt like they wasted dialogue, wasted action. We had that amazing scene in the fucking countryside of Lumen. And then we got like more dialogue because I'm still trying to figure out the board is even real. And so like we got more of that. This is just such a good episode.
The board is real, but I have a theory about the board because somebody's talking to Natalie. She's not just making that shit up.
No, you're right.
So someone is talking to her, but I got a theory about who that is and what that's all about, which we'll get to in a little bit. All right, let's jump into this episode. I got signed out of my notes, so hold on a second. But I see y'all comments and they're going to come up over the course of this episode. So I'm going to bring them up when we get there. Also, we got the most clips that I've ever had for an episode. This episode. So
love that.
Be ready for
So y'all know that I think Milchick is obviously a villain, but I love this show because we've been talking about how like race basically doesn't matter on the Severed floor, but they found a way to bring it in, and they found the acting to be so organic that like it for the first time you start to think, damn, does Milchick feel any kind of way about being a black man here? Like, does that it seems like it doesn't matter, and then they found a way to make it matter, and that is so like just real. That's so like good a way to think about the experience. Whenever you feel comfortable, you always are reminded like, no, I am so different.
I knew Milchick knew he was a black man because he's in 2022 rocking the Huey Newton. So I knew with the turtleneck and the hair and the motorcycle, I knew he was black this entire time.
That's interesting. You know what? I like to think then if they had severed his ass, he would have been down there trying to form the Black Panthers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so funny seeing a villain, and then you're like, how would you have reacted to Severance? You would have been the same. You would have been a Helly, you know?
I would have been a Helly. I would have been revolutionary, just like Helly.
You already know you're Dylan, and I don't know why you act like you're Dylan. You honestly might even be Bert.
I'm Helly.
I'm definitely the late. What is the black lady's name in O&D? I'm 100% her. I'm definitely Felicia. I'm 100%. That's all me.
The show starts.
Yeah, Milchick was feeling away. Go ahead.
The show starts with Cobelvig in the car. And Cobelvig pulls over to the side of the road to go to sleep, apparently. And then somebody drives by real loud, wakes her ass up, and then she turns the radio on and starts driving. Looks like she's on a long route to go somewhere, which we found out a little bit later.
You also I think she looks over and her mom, it's like in the previous season. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, in the previous season, she had that altered a keyer, and so we just see an item from there later that came up before.
There's an interesting theory about that too, which I'll get to. Yeah, a lot of theories, and I was deep into Severance Reddit this week. Deep into Severance Reddit.
Are you dropping the show? Are you telling people about the show in the
no,
threads?
Because that's you don't do that on Reddit. You don't know the rules of Reddit. You don't self-promote yourself on Reddit. That's a cardinal rule.
Okay, sorry.
See, you don't be knowing. You got to know these things.
I'm thinking about marketing and sales. Okay.
Get somebody else to do it. Somebody on here, somebody listening to us, go on Reddit and drop the show. That's how you do it.
Thank you, please.
That's how you
Also, somebody needs to make like a Code Knox. I know you're gonna pull him up later, but Code Knox mentioned that we haven't seen Helly in a long time. I need a Where's Helly sign. I need a Where's Helly campaign.
We should make one.
On a box of milk, yeah, for sure.
Code Knox said I'm right about Reddit.
I know.
That's how
I'm
it works.
being funny. No, I'm just like, Brandon's too humble. We need to push the show.
Then we cut to Mark's crib. Mark has a new energy to him because he think he knows something. So he's setting a timer on his watch. He runs into the office. He's running through the parking lot and shit. By the way, Adam Scott, you're no Tom Cruise, buddy. You're no Tom Cruise. You got to get on that run game, man. Watch some film. Get in there, watch some film on the Tom Cruise run. And the next time I see you run from the parking lot into Lumen, I want to see a Tom Cruise-esque run. You got to have that for Severance.
But why? How? No. Because how would the alcoholic who comes home, drinks himself to sleep, and it goes to work run a 40 yard dash?
You trying to tell me Tom Cruise don't drink in none of the movies, his character?
I'm trying to tell you that Tom Cruise is not a drunk who is crying himself to sleep every night over his wife and sleeping on the couch. I think he ran real realistic.
And he's still matter of fact, Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder could run like that. That's how good Tom Cruise run is.
Okay.
His character in Tropic Thunder could hit that run.
The running didn't bother me, but fair.
Looks like by the way, we noticed the Severance employees got to check in at the front desk, and then they got to call somebody to let him go back, which is interesting. It took 1 minute and 42 seconds for him to get to his locker, and then he started counting down from his locker to the elevator until he got switched over to Mark S. And when that switch happened, he was at 36 seconds. So that's how long it took to get from his locker.
Yeah.
To switch over to Mark S.
At this point, we don't know what he's counting for, but what I was excited about in seeing this is Milchick tried to throw us all off the trail the first episode, saying like they're heroes on the outside, everything's good. We knew that wasn't necessarily true, but then he was also trying to get Innie Mark to think that Audi Mark was like content, and so I'm excited to see how Audi Mark is going about his like resistance, because we think all the time about how the Innies are struggling, but as an Audi, you also don't have any context. So it's like, you just don't know what you could do to mess your Innie up, or like all the rules, you don't know what they're going through. So I love now trying to see the Audi fight back and like trying to see him think about infiltrating Lumen, because he has like no resources, no allies. But that's what hyped me up in the beginning about this episode.
So then we cut to MDR. Mark is printing out missing pictures of Miss Casey. Mark and Helly are going to go to the GOAT department. They're going to check out them. He tells Dylan to go to the break room. And Dylan was like, can I do that later? Like, I'm kind of busy here. I'm like, I'm about to hit this, like, these numbers. Like, these numbers really starting to hit right now. Like, I can feel it right in my heart.
They're like, nigga, are you okay? We are in the middle of a coup. We're on phase 2 of this coup, and you want to do your work? Like, and I mean, I guess on some extent, it would kind of make sense when you think about the fact that like Dylan was always refiner of the quarter, but clearly they're already like, what's going on? And then also I know if I'm Irving, I'm like, what the fuck did you bring me back for, to watch you refine? Like, what are we doing? Get up.
They tell Irv, hey dog, I know your boyfriend died, but I'm gonna need you to go to his house, go through his dresser, and then go to his family and tell them if they seen my homeboy's wife. That's basically what he told him to do. And so Irv looks a little hesitant to go back to O&D. And Mark's like, listen, let's be discreet. And Helly awkwardly comes up to Irv and grabs his hand and was like, we got you. And Irv is looking at her like, what are you doing?
Like, what the fuck? Bitch, you've never done that in your life. Yeah, so we all agree this is not Helly, right? Just double checking.
Yes. Irv is going to be the one who figures it out. He's already figured out that she had a night gardener, which didn't make no fucking sense. Now she's grabbing her arm. And Irv is looking at her sideways this entire time.
But Irv is always, so this is what I love about this, right? Because first of all, I don't know if it's like the underlying military training is still there, but like on one end, Irving is always the one observant because he used to be the one to call out the infractions and violations. So now he's using this to be like, wait a minute, you're not going to infract and violate on the revolution. Like, what are you doing? So I do love that he is naturally observant, so it will make sense for him to confront her. And then, as you said, the reason why it will be Irv is because Dylan's distracted as fuck, and then also, Mark
Mark's in
is
love.
exactly, Mark's in his feelings, so he's gonna be like, this is just, they're in a new territory anyway. So even if Helly just changes her whole personality romantically, he doesn't have context to know that's not how she is.
Code Knox says, remember Dylan clapped after the new perks film. Well, we know my boy loves some perks. My boy loved him some perks. So
I feel like he couldn't help himself because he's like, wait a minute. Because to be honest, the one thing people don't realize is like resistance and activism is tiring. You want to give in and be like, yo, you're telling me we fixed everything and it's good now and I can get mega finger traps. Like, yeah, let's do that. So I do kind of feel for them because at some point, like, you kind of just want to give in to the big, to big. We agree, Luminous Amazon, right? So you kind of want to give in to Big Bezos and just let him have his way with you.
Mark and Helly are on their way to the goat room. Mark says his plan. This is his plan. We're gonna find Miss Casey. I'm gonna take her to their side stairwell. I'm gonna go outside with her, and then my Audi gonna know what to do.
Let me tell you something. Fucking genius. He's correct. Because as soon as Mark S wakes up anywhere and sees Gemma, there's no going back. That was so fucking smart.
I don't know. I feel like now that would work, even besides what we get into the episode. But at that point, when he don't believe Gemma's alive, if he just wake up and somebody like his wife just standing there, he'll be like, what the am I drunk? Like, what's wrong with me?
Right, but it's still more than it's not the best option of all the things. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Because there's nothing else you could do. Like, I think putting eyes on her is enough to know that you started some shit that can't be unstarted.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. So then Helly he asked Helly, are you sure you want to help? And they look awkwardly at each other for a very long time. She's like, yeah, of course. And then it looks like they're about to kiss, and then they don't, and then she kind of smiles, and then he smiles.
But that's when I was smile. Like, is Mark gonna pick up on it too? Because it was like awkward, but I feel like Mark's gonna eventually be like, what the this is not how we, like, this is awkward in an awkward way. This is not awkward in a Mark and Helly way.
And then Mark was like, oh shit, we gotta get going. Milchick comes in and he sees Mark Balloons in the hallway. Just laying there, and he gets pissed off.
So mad.
Tommy said, why he snatched them balloons like that? I wasn't even looking at the screen when he did it, but it just felt like he snatched that balloons with an attitude. He definitely had an attitude.
He was salty. Like, I'm trying to, it's kind of like I'm thinking of like a very complicated scenario where like there's a dad and a stepdad and they get both their kids a gift, and the kids end up playing with the stepdad's gift, and the dad's like, give me back my fucking balloon. Like, he's so mad. He's like, I can't believe I went out to the store and got these printed for you, and I blew them up with my own. I didn't use helium. I blew up these balloons myself, Mark, and you don't want the balloons. Like, Milchick is like, you're really feels like they're ungrateful, and it's so funny that he doesn't understand that like they are fighting for their lives. Who gives a fuck about these balloons? But also now I want balloons. I want
Why
balloons
you want
with my
balloons?
face. I'm just saying, I want that for my birthday. I want balloons with my face on them. That was fire.
So then we cut back to NBR and Irv. Oh no! Before this is when Milchick goes into his office. And guess what, Chanel? I actually got video this episode. Hopefully we don't get kicked off of YouTube, but I got some video.
Wait, how will we do that?
Because I want to see the facial reactions, and let's talk about those facial reactions in here, because I got a lot to say about this scene.
Don't get us striked out now.
So here we go.
Good morning, Seth.
Natalie.
Looks like your balloons could use some coffee.
That's funny. It looks like your balloons could use some coffee.
They were in the...
I've got the board.
Of course. Hello.
The board says hello.
Hello. I want to thank the board humbly for my recent betterment.
Betterment? That's how they call promotions? A betterment? What the fuck is a betterment?
The board says you're welcome. The board is jubilant at your ascendance. It wants you to feel appreciated and asks if you do.
I don't know, Chanel. I think we got to start rooting for Lumen. They put black people in places of power at Lumen. Natalie speaks for the board, directly for the board of Lumen. Self Milchick's in charge of the Severance floor, their big experiment. They not worried about no DEI accusations over there. They promote the best people, regardless of color. Regardless of color.
Yep.
I do.
The board austerely desires for you to feel connected to Lumen's history. To that end, please accept from the board these inclusively recanonicalized paintings intended to help you see yourself in Kier, our founder.
Look at her face.
Okay, yeah, pause. Because so we're in the chat talking about eye contact, which I would say in general, this is what I pick up on from this show. Is again, like the whole thing is to be severed. It says is to recognize you're spending half of your life at work, like that, the metaphor there, right? But then on in addition to that, they're like comically too nice or comically direct. Like when in the pilot, right? She goes, "You may request a handshake," and Mark goes, "I'd like to request a handshake," and she goes, "Approved," and then they handshake. Like it's like all this really weird formality. So I think the eye contact and all that is stylistic to talk about how like unreal this shit is. But then like this moment and them connecting is interesting because she's still there as a proxy of the board, but it's some she'll have her moment where you're like, okay, Natalie's kind of coming through there. But I just also wanted to comment on like canonically reframing so you can see yourself. What did you think you were about to get when they said that?
I thought they were gonna have like Milchick like in charge of some shit. Like actual
exactly.
Milchick in charge. By the way, you see Milchick's bar over here? Look at that. Milchick got a little stash.
Let me tell you something. If I didn't know Lumen was bad, I'd definitely be going up to Milchick at the bar. Like, hey, are you working in corporate? I need that song that went crazy on TikTok. I need a man 6'5" in finance. I need a man Huey Newton cut, wears a leather jacket, runs the severed floor. That's what I'm looking. That's me.
I'm not on Chinese TikTok, so I don't know that song. I don't give my information to the Chinese, unlike you.
Shut up. Sorry, it's so stupid. At first I said, is this just old? Because you guys have to watch this, even if you're listening on the podcast. I'm like, is this old Milchick? And then you're like, bitch, that's Kier in blackface.
Yeah, that's Kirk Lazarus. That's who that is.
I'm supposed to know who that is.
See? Yeah, ha! I knew it. You see, Chad? Still don't even know who Kirk Lazarus is. But she's supposed to be a movie and TV fan and don't know who Kirk Lazarus is.
Okay, if you said Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, I just forgot the name of his. Okay, sorry, I lost my Tropic Thunder lore.
That's
but
right.
You remember my
one of the greatest movies of all time.
But you remember my Tropic Thunder connection, right?
No, what's the Tropic Thunder connection?
I went to the same high school as Brandon T. Jackson, so you can't. Tropic Thunder is basically on my resume.
One of the greatest movies of all time. Look at that. He got the blue eyes. He didn't even bother to change his eyes. They just slapped some
The mustache is killing. Like the shading's not. So when I say blackface, by the way, for people to know, like there's like the very like aggressive and ugly sample blackface, but in general, like making yourself black because you think people can't see it, you exist as white and you think people can't see you unless that you make them the same color is technically blackface. So just don't do it. Just don't tan. If you like, there's this is such a side note, but Brandon, I always tell Brandon to watch Housewives. And there's this iconic episode of Real Housewives of New York, the original legacy one, where this woman from Connecticut wanted to be Diana Ross for Halloween. And she fully blackface. She browned it out and she did not know what the problem was. And this was like within the last 10 years. And they ate her ass up. And it's just like, you don't have to do that. You could just say, I'm Diana Ross. And we say, okay.
Yeah, but see, this is what you're missing.
Mm-hmm.
If I go to a white church,
right,
they got white Jesus. If I go to a black church, they got a black Jesus.
So what does that mean? We just make people, we just change colors of you know what? You might have got me there. I don't
that's
know
who Kier is. That's who Kier is. He appears to how his people see him, what they look like. You know Galactus in the Marvel Universe, right? Galactus is like a celestial being, right? He's not celestial, but he's a cosmic being, right? And so in the comic books and the lore is that when we see Galactus come to Earth, he's like this 300-foot white man, right? With a mask and everything. But the lore of Galactus is whatever planet he goes to, they see him as they are because he's a cosmic being. He's not like a human. So whatever planet he goes to, he looks like whatever the people or the beings on that planet look like. Just a large version of that, right? So wherever he goes in the universe is what he looks like. That's Kier. Kier's Galactus. That's who he is.
I guess so. I would just say, ain't nobody asked for this. No one requested this, but you have a point. If we think of it as like a religious figure, we do change it around. It's just so specific. Anyway, we can keep going. I'm sorry. It's just like this shit makes me laugh because racism is so funny. When it's not violent and harmful, racism is so ridiculous. It just makes me laugh.
Look at Milchick's face.
He's like, get the fuck.
Oh my.
Now, this is the best part. So I listened to a few podcasts, right? And most of the time I like the podcast, even though some of them have all white casts, but they're usually good. They're pretty good podcasts. But none of the white people I know cover this show understood this scene, what happened here. And then one of the white YouTubers I listened to, he does like a recap video and then he does a live discussion later in the week. And on his live discussion, he had a black dude from another show come on to talk to him about it. And they got to this part and the black dude was like, yeah, I saw this completely different as a black man. Let me explain to you what actually happened. And the guy was like, oh shit, I didn't even notice those things. And I was like, of course you didn't notice those things. But he was open. I mean, he wasn't like debating them. He was just, he didn't notice it because he was a white dude. But what happens in this scene, all black people understood what was happening in this scene. So I'm going to play these facial expressions between Natalie
and by the way,
and Milchick.
Before you do that, that's why I love our podcast, because we are special in that we can get that perspective. And secondly, can you please pull up this comment from Code Knox?
Yeah. Which one?
So Code Knox first said like, oh, this is a reward for his betterment. And then he said, oh, you're right. Kier is like Jesus. He's everybody. And then the comment after that, Code Knox said, sometimes Kier appears as a broomstick.
That's right. They appear how you see him. Broomsticks believe too. You're trying to cut on people's beliefs.
One. That's a good one. Okay, let's do these facial expressions.
So everybody watch this and pay attention because if you didn't notice this the first time, it's really good.
Whole care cycle.
Yes. Because even, okay, sorry, we got to go back. We might have to game tape this. That little subtle nod is her being like, we just get through this.
Oh, no, it's more coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what this picture was. It looks like AI.
That's Kieran in his deathbed. There's a remember that bed that they go to? I feel like that's Kieran in the deathbed.
In the perpetuity wing.
Mm-hmm. She's so mad. She like, don't freak out. Don't say shit.
This is the best part. They're like trying to make him feel comfortable. Say this.
The board
this killed me.
To express that I, Natalie, received this same gift upon receipt of my current position and found it extremely moving.
I'm grateful.
I, Natalie. That's how you know she didn't want to say that shit. I, Natalie.
Yes.
Yep.
It's meaningful to see myself reflected in...
Nigga's mad as fuck. His lips is so tight. Oh, I love it.
This is the best part here.
The board has concluded the call.
So now that the call is over, watch Natalie's face.
Nigga. That's what she's saying. He's like, bitch. She's like, bruh. No.
Yes. They're having a whole conversation with their eyes. And none of the white people I listened to understood this. They did not know what was happening here. And I was like, this is so clearly they're like this. They're like, I see.
Yeah. She's saying this, that bullshit, but do you understand? I just cleared $2 million. I bought a house in Aspen this year. That's what she's saying. And he's like, you're right. Gotta get to the bag.
Congratulations, Seth.
What a fucking scene that was. That was a great fucking scene. Great fucking scene. One of my favorites of this entire show.
They're not here to play. And I did say, oh my gosh, it's literally Black History Month. This is hilarious. This is great timing. We love this. Like this very subtle. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that, like, I don't believe in a post-racial society. I think at the end of the day, it's just about like creating more equity and like there's some healing that has to happen in the sense that people need to thought that was Uncle Ben. They did have him look like he was on the front of the rice. That was what he was on front of the rice box.
Yeah, he looked like Uncle Ben.
But anyway, I was just like, I think that there's a reality where we just talk about race and racial politics, identity politics, and it's just messy, but it's like you just not harming other people. I think that's the actual answer. I don't think there's I don't care that you're Black and you're white. I think it's like, oh, you're Black, I'm white, you're Asian, I'm not. There's no harm that should come to you because of these things. And I think it's the simple answer. So I do love when people subtly talk about race in shows because it is always there. And it's not necessarily a bad thing that it's always there, but it's always there. And that's what I really appreciate about this. DJ Rated R wants to know what podcast you were listening to. Hold on, before you do this, are you about to promo another show on our podcast? Think about that.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm not one of those. I was watching the YouTube channel Pete Peppers. He does these reviews. He does like all book reviews and sci-fi stuff. So that's his thing. And then for Severance, he does like a live discussion. So he had this black dude, this African black dude, I forget what podcast he was from, come on to talk to him about it the next day. And when they got to the scene, he was like, yeah, I can't separate being a black man from this. And people was like, how, what, like, what'd you see? And he explains exactly what we kind of talked about. Not exactly, but in a similar way, like what we kind of talked about, because all black people who watched that probably felt that way. And he was like, oh, I didn't even notice that. I was like, yeah. And like, I'm not mad at white people for not noticing it because that's a very Black experience. It's kind of hard to pick that out if you don't have the Black experience because
loved it.
I think most white people I've heard talk about this understood how racist this was, right? And they understood, like the ones that I listened to, and they understood like what this represented, which was like disingenuous. Like all the DEI stuff we're talking about in real life.
Yeah.
Most of those things are good. This is like the DEI stuff that like people should be actually mad about. Like the fake.
Yeah, I didn't ask for this.
I don't want to ask for this. Like, what are you doing? That type of thing. Why are you trying so hard? We just want like equal chances, like that type of thing. And companies really do this stuff. Not to that
Exactly.
extent. Not to, well,
maybe.
maybe.
Like it's a translation, right? It's a metaphor. DJ Rated R said earlier, I take this as a dig at racial microaggressions in corporate America. Like exactly. That's what you basically just said. I think yeah, it's just like, again, I know that we talk about race a lot on this show and we have white listeners and we genuinely love that you guys are here. I think like how I got to a place of comfort about it is just processing what I was seeing in front of me, being open about what I'm experiencing, and then trying to just be clear with people about like Black people are all of these things. We have the same sense of humor. We also have a different culture. We also like different things. But we also like the same things. You know, like it's just a layered and complicated thing. There is no like one size fits all thing we're trying to reach. That should not be the goal. And it's just about creating comfort with those differences. So like you don't have to have read that and seen. Yeah, she's giving them kind eyes. I forgot about the kind eyes. You don't have to have you don't have to have understood that. Like you don't have to have any guilt or confusion about not having seen that. It's more like, oh, I see that now. Maybe you'll see it. Maybe you'll see it now moving forward. Maybe you'll see it in life and you'll be like, huh, I noticed that. And then if you don't experience it, your job is just to like make it comfortable for the people who do experience that. Your job is to make it happen less for them when they're not in the room. So if that means like you just don't encourage people to make them feel different and make them feel left out, that's kind of the bottom line. So anyway, that's like that's probably the nicest thing, the kindest and most understanding I've ever been about things like this. But I don't want people to be discouraged because like they don't pick up on it. It's more like this is how you start seeing it, and then when you see it, you'll realize how Black people are unable to see it, unable to unsee it, because once you're a kid and you have to have that talk about how you're going to be treated differently, you need to be prepared for yourself. You can't undo that, and it's not fair. So the only way through it is to like renegotiate how we even talk about this stuff. Anyway, yeah.
Ben Stiller produces the show, made Tropic Thunder. Yeah, Ben Stiller's my favorite actor of all time.
Mm-hmm.
He's in my favorite movie of all time,
which is Meet the Fockers. I thought you were going to say
Meet the Parents.
I thought you were going to say Zoolander is your favorite movie.
Tropic Thunder's second. He's in my two favorite movies of all time.
Where's Zoolander at for you? Because Zoolander's funny as fuck.
I mean, I like Zoolander, but it's not up there. But Tropic Thunder, man, amazing film. Amazing.
Because I'll never forget when it's the Derek Zoolander School for Children Who Can't Read Good, which by the way, we need that school now more than ever. Literacy is at an all-time low. When they show him the model of the school and he was like, how did the kids get in there? I can't.
He's the best. He's the best, man.
I might have to have a Ben Stiller marathon. Okay, wait, I have a question. If I was, I'm probably not going to do this, but if I was on Twitch or YouTube, could I watch movies with people, or that's not, they'll flag it?
They'll flag that. Some people do it on Twitch. Oh no, they do it on like Discords, people's Discords, but you'll get flagged on YouTube or Twitch.
Damn. Guys, let's get big enough so we need a Discord, and then you guys can chat with us throughout the day about these shows.
So then we cut back. That's not a bad idea. We gotta keep growing. Back to MDR. Irv comes up to Dylan and tells him, "Hey dog, I recreated the painting my Audi was doing, and guess what? I think that shit down here." And he was like, "Oh, for real? That shit down here? Get the fuck out of here! That shit down here for real?" He was like, "Yeah, that's down here." So this is what we finna do. We're gonna fuck with Mark saying, "Let's go look for that shit." Me and you.
Which, by the way,
buddy
I love their Keenan and Kel. They do their little like sidebar thing, and it's just as interesting, if not more. And I really fuck with them for that. Like they're like, okay, whatever. Mark just spent 10 minutes going through the game plan. All right, fuck all that. Let's go do this.
And then Dylan was like, "Oh yeah, that's not a bad idea. But look, I got a better idea though. How about this? How about you go look for that shit today by yourself?"
Yeah.
What you mean by myself? No, stealth and shit. He said stealth. And Irv was like, stealth? He was like, yeah, stealth. And then he was like, plus I got some. And then Miss Wong came in. And Irv, I meant to take this, but I already had too many clips. But Irv walks up to Miss Wong and he goes, "Hall pass, bitch," and then walks out. And walks right out of there. I was like, look at Irv, man. He got that energy.
He said, if I'm going to stay here, did I just drop myself? Oh, I'm good. Okay. I literally thought I dropped myself in the stream, but I was about to scream. Okay. Yeah, he definitely is like, I don't give a fuck. You should just be glad I'm here. He's really giving the you should be honored that I'm here energy, which I love that for him. Because this man used to bootlick Lumen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Irv's Audi just got Xfinity. He got that big gig energy. That's what he got. Big gig energy. So then they cut to Cobelvig, and she's still driving. And she approached a sign that says SaltNet 238 miles away. So obviously SaltNet means something to her. And she stops and gets real emotional. And then she looks to the right, and we see that medical tubing that had the Charlotte Cobell like label on it. And it kind of gets her emotional. And everybody thinks that's her mom or something, her grandmother or something like that. And that means something between Lumen and whatever. But
yeah,
there are people who have a theory on this, And the theory is that Cobelvig is extremely obsessed with reintegration, right? And so the theory is that she was severed. Charlotte Cobell was her severed personality. Something happened with her. She don't have any idea what happened because they permanently turned off her severance chip. And so she has this idea of trying to figure out what the fuck happened, and she can't remember it because she's severed. What do you think about that?
I think she thinks that her family, something happened to her family member and she can't remember it because of her severance.
No, they think that yes.
With Charlotte. Yes. Oh, yeah. I'm about to say,
she can't remember.
The thing is that the date on that was definitely the date on that was definitely I think for an older person. So I don't think she was born in the 30s in this environment. Maybe I could be wrong. Oh yay, we already got a Discord commit. But yeah, I think in general, I do think it's her mother. It would make sense. And maybe she had remember Lumen and Kira and them used to do medicine. So maybe it's just like that's part of her origin story of how she got obsessed. Because I do believe she's a true believer. And then maybe there is something about reintegration here. But I don't think she's obsessed with reintegration. I feel like she just maybe like whatever they did to kill Miss Casey / Gemma is probably more where I think that story is going to end up. Where it's something around like she knows. I think she was less interested in reintegration, more trying to figure out like, do they still feel each other? Like, is he going to find out? Like, I think I'd just be fascinated by that. So I think my theory is it revolves more around whatever Mark is important, but I'm open for whatever because it could be completely something completely
I don't
different.
think that. I just heard that this week. All my content on YouTube, most of the white reviewers I saw thought it was a romantic chemistry between Seth and Natalie. Yep, I heard that too. Mm-hmm. That's not what was happening there, but that'd be interesting.
I said it in the chat too. Like I had that feeling, like I had that like thought, and what I appreciated about Severance is that it's not a show that uses sex at all as like a device to like get the show going. I
think we're about to get some though.
You think we're gonna get sex?
Yeah, we'll get to it. I think we're about to get sex.
No, I was going because you know me. I love a sex scene. I love a sex scene. I love diversity in sex scenes. I'm trying to see cheeks get clapped. You are like, I'm consistent about that.
We know. From industry.
What I like about this show is that it doesn't. Some shows I think can use sex in a bit of like a manipulative way to like keep the story going along, because like your brain is going to respond to seeing like there's just something about it that's like interesting. But this show is a purely in your head thriller, and that's what I like about it. But anyway, this is a side note, and then we'll get back to it. When we talk about whether or not there can be romance with them, it always makes me think about how one of the challenges sometimes of like being assuming that both of them are heterosexual in this environment, the challenge is that just because there's one black guy and one black girl, it doesn't always mean they match up and become couple. Actually, like that's probably very rare, because culturally or historically, black men are more open to dating outside the ethnicity than Black women are. So they don't necessarily see it as like, I need to be with her or I need to protect her. And that is, I think, one of the challenges we face as a community. So I don't think it would make sense for them to end up being together, but I do think that that would actually be something that would be very like romantic to me, is if they like through this shared experience they had, they create empathy and support for each other. Like that actually, I think is, we don't see that often, but we see it all the time with like other races where like or other ethnicities where it does make sense for the two people to pair up, but like you do not see that a lot in shows with Black people because it doesn't happen a lot in real life. I mean, I think it probably happens in real life more than those shows is what I meant to say. Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry, we had some comments to catch up on.
So we got All Mark Cons again said, did you read the Lexington letters? It said it in there. Lemon got sued for bad breathing tubes. Yeah, I read the Lexington letters. I knew Chanel wasn't going to read them. So I
don't do research on shows while I'm watching them. I just try to be in the moment and just see what is going to happen.
Because
so I haven't read
Chanel only does research if she can be spoiled on what's about to happen. So if it's not going to tell her what's about to happen, she don't have time for it. So I sent her a YouTube video that talked about the Lexington letters in like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And of course she didn't watch it. So
I did watch it. What are you talking about? I did watch it. I don't remember the breathing tube part though, but I remember the that she was going to try to expose them, but then Seth Milchick's brother stopped her.
Well, we don't know if it's Seth Milchick's brother. It's just another Milchick out there. Mm-hmm. So then we cut to Mark and Helly, and they at the goat department, and they knock on the door and they walk in, and all the goats are gone, but they see a little goat hallway. And it looks it's funny. It's like their hallway that they walk through, but smaller, which is funny that they have the goats walk through the hallway as well. And Mark is like, all right, fuck it, I'm going in there. And Helly's like, you really finna do this? And she's like, yeah. So Helly's like, all right then. So she walks back and they crawl through it and they got to crawl around shit. And Helena Egan is probably like, what the fuck am I doing? Crawling around shit? Like, what am I doing? And I wonder how much of this Helena has seen before. Like, I wonder how aware of what's going on the Severance floor she is, and like what the fuck happens and how these people act. Because I find that to be incredibly interesting with this deceiving nature of her right now. So they come out and there's a whole ass goat like hill, like a whole big ass hill with tons of goats running around. And I was like, yo, what is this? Like, I still don't know what the fuck's going on here. And there's a dude pretending to be a goat watching them. And then we see my girl.
Like, I thought that, by the way, that could have been very dark. He's wearing like the dark, like, he's wearing like the Nordic, like, goat herder, scary nightmare costume. And I was like, is he about to attack them? But he's kind of just chilling. I think that's maybe something to help the herd. But okay, yeah. So, by the way, like, we always knew the goats.
Oh, Spencer, there's so much content for this show. And I sent this to Chanel. Rickon's book just came out. It's in Apple Books. Yeah. And they have it as an audio book with Rickon voicing it. It's fucking incredible. So,
is his voice shaky? That's all I need to know.
Is his voice what?
Is his voice shaking? Remember at the reading party, he was like, why is my voice doing this? I want to know if he fixed that problem or not.
I haven't listened to the whole thing, so I don't know if he gets into that. But yeah, go check it out. Great content.
We knew the goats were coming back. Yes. I love that they said, fuck, let's create a whole goat pasture and let's just turn this shit up and let's let them be the weirdest. Let's have mountain people working for Lumen.
Yes. And then we see my girl, Brianna Tarth, Gwendolyn Christie, and she runs up and she goes, are you all here to kill me? And Mark says, what? No. Like, no, we're from NPR. Can we
pause though. Is someone coming to kill them? Like, why did she ask that? Did she know they were MDR, or do you think they like?
No, she didn't know they were MDR.
One day? Okay.
And she says, and Mark says, what the fuck is this place? And she goes, it's Mammalian's Nutrable. She said. And Mark says, look, I don't mean no harm. I'm just here to talk. And they cut away. Then we see Irv and O&D. Irv walks back there. He's getting emotional being in that room. He sees some new paintings. Felicia comes out and he was
like
happy to see him.
Felicia comes out and goes, and Irv was like, baby, come here.
Irv was like, I'm sorry I haven't been here in so long. I was like, nigga, it's been 2 weeks. Like, it's been 2 weeks. What you mean so
But
long?
that's a long time for Innie. Isn't that a long time for Innies?
Innie's lived the same time frame as us.
No, they don't. It doesn't feel like that.
Oh,
It feels
doesn't feel like that. That's right.
because anyway. I couldn't be
I
Innie,
feel
but
like
yeah.
it's a shorter time frame though, because your days are
Well,
only 8 hours.
But think about it. Okay, think about this. We finish streaming. When you close your eyes, you open your eyes, we're streaming again. That feels like a long ass stream.
No, that feels like instant. Like I just saw you, and then I saw you again.
But think about the fact that you don't have any break from streaming. So it's like your consciousness is all streaming. So even like 7 streams would feel like 7 million streams, because as far as you know, you all your life you've been streaming.
Yes, correct. That's
okay. Anyway, yeah, we're just getting into it. Also, Code Knox says his theory is that Helen is having fun, and that all the departments are at war. So I think that would make sense, because MDR and OND, they're being predisposed to be suspicious of each other, to not to avoid each other. So it would make sense that different departments have different levels of fear and animosity.
But Mark is circling the wagons. He's circling the wagons right now. And so Felicia comes in and gives Irv a hug. So then we cut back to Mamalius Nutrable. And I actually have this scene because I thought this was funny.
Her name's Miss Casey. She's our former wellness director.
I love all the goats in the background. So great.
Wellness. We don't abide such fripperies here.
Fripperies.
I love that. That's giving me House of the Dragon. Yes, because I love how they talk on that show. I want her to say a mummer's farce. I want to hear mummer's farce. And I'll be very happy.
Right, well, she's been retired, but we believe she may still be on the floor.
Are you sure you don't know her?
Maybe you should take that page of paper and be on your way.
Not until you've answered my question.
Okay, Mark staying on business.
He's getting the spine. She goes,
oh, word? Because I'm a hootie-hoo, and calls the squad. And when I tell you it was cousins coming out the hills, like it, you know how like when OND, we thought it was 2 people and then it ended up being like 10? Bitch, this was a whole clan, came up out of them woods, like I heard something, we about to squabble. Like, this was such a fun scene, because like you realize there's so many people down here, and like you could think you're the only 4 people working this floor the way that they manage it. It's so interesting.
Ben Court says, Cortez says, Innies aren't allowed to sleep because their Audi memories seep in. That is an excellent point that I had not thought about. But that makes perfect sense, because they get mad every time Irv would fall asleep. And Irv's Audi was drinking all that coffee, staying up all night on purpose so that his Innie would fall asleep and remember shit. That's an excellent point.
Ben Cortez is doing the knowledge. I love you doing the math. I love you doing the math. Yeah. Because sometimes I can't lie. Sometimes I don't think of these things. So this is very helpful.
So then Dylan is walking with Miss Wong, and he goes, "Is it rude if I keep asking why you're a kid? I just want to know if you're okay. Like, are they forcing you here? Can you leave?"
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, is this it? First of all, are you even over 16? Second of all, like, do you want to be here? Like, how are we able to consent to this?
And so they keep walking, and they go to the old security room, and Dylan's like, "Oh shit, I'm not finna go in there." And he's like, "Come on in here." He goes in there, and he sees all these screens, and it's just pictures of Dylan's Audi and his wife. And Dylan's just in awe of all this shit. And Miss Wong says, and then behind him is his wife. You kind of see her in the shadow. And behind him, Miss Wong says, "Through good behavior and output, you've earned an 18-minute visitation with your Audi's wife, Gretchen G." And I was like, 18 minutes is a random motherfucking number. that you get
I
to
hate them
spend
so much.
18
But
minutes.
also, okay, so here's my question. At this point, what did you think was about to happen? Because I was like, oh, I know
I
they
was
got an
wrong
actress.
because I thought they were gonna get a fake fake wife.
Right. Because I'm like, why would they do this? Why would they expose it like that? But then they kind of do. They're definitely all up. Like, you know how they used to say, like, don't leave room for Jesus when you're dancing. They're leaving room for Lumen in the middle of this conversation because they're not able to get anything out there that's secret. But yeah, this is a great scene. I love, and also this actress, I forget her name. I love her. She's good in everything she's in.
So I got this scene.
Nice sack.
You don't know what a fucking purse is. Nice sack. By the way, they gave her one of those clear bags that you got to take, like when you go to a stadium, so that you can bring your shit in. Because women don't play.
They did an anal cavity sweep because, like, they're not letting them bring nothing into this. It was
it was
definitely
a jail room visit.
Yeah, it was
And we're gonna get some conjugal visit sex too.
That's what don't steal my joke.
Oh,
You don't know Seinfeld.
thanks.
Actually, you probably do know Seinfeld. Actually.
Yeah, play a clip.
They made me put my stuff in here.
Badass.
That's what
You really don't know me at all?
No. Well, I mean, from the photos from just now, but
Yeah, Seth warned me that this might be weird.
who's Seth?
Refrain from sharing information that may be privileged or sensitive.
That's very interesting. They don't know Milchick's first name. He just Mr. Milchick. Like it's a teacher.
That's very interesting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Child.
She tries to whisper, "What's up with this fucking child?"
Miss Huang.
That was my favorite part because she's like, I'm right here with you guys, whether you want me to be or not.
Gretchen got to be like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on down here? Like, what is going on down here?"
Look, it's really nice to meet you, but am I in trouble?
Oh no, you're not in trouble.
She's so sweet.
We have 3 kids.
Also, you notice they made her dress like a Mormon to come down there. I know she don't wear that outfit outside, but you always got to dress basic as hell to come down there.
And you, no, he, or...
Yeah, I don't know how you would say that.
My husband has had trouble keeping other jobs.
He dumb?
Is he dumb? I love Dylan, man. I love Dylan G.
No.
He a dick?
No.
What is wrong with him?
Oh, nothing.
He asks really good questions. Those are really strong, 3 strong questions to get to the bottom of it.
He never quite found his thing.
So he's actually kind of a fuck up?
I wonder if that music is actually playing in the background or if they're playing it for us. Because Lumen would actually absolutely play that shit in the background.
Correct. I mean, what's funny is like, again, there was a running joke where Dylan and Irving thought that like they might be doing really cool shit out there, right? And so it is probably really sobering to find out that like you're here because this is better than unemployment.
He thought he was doing muscle shows and fucking big titted MILFs. That's what he thought his Audi was doing.
Do you want to see a picture of the kids?
This is definitely wellness music.
Yeah.
Look at that shot. Look at the background. It's like a beach vibe of some sort. They definitely playing that music in there.
Mm-hmm.
So Jim is 6. He's in the 1st grade now. And Ruth is 4. And Merrick just turned 2.
6, 4, and 2. They was getting it in. Bang, bang, bang.
Shit. Look at them.
Zach Cherry was acting his ass off here too.
Mm-hmm. But also, why cowboy? Like, okay, I'll let him say it. Sorry.
Awesome.
They are.
And we live on a cattle ranch?
That's clearly a pic from like an amusement park. In one of those like where you dress it up, but he has no recollection of like how that would work.
Yeah, because like, but of all the things to show, it's so funny.
And so basically Dylan says that he's glad they did this, and that he promises to make them proud, his Audi and Gretchen.
Mm-hmm.
Gretchen says she's always proud of you, I'm always proud of you, Dylan. He kind of reaches to shake her hand, but she gives him a hug and she tells him she loves him, which is interesting, which we'll get to later in the episode, because when she left Audi Dylan, she didn't say I love you. She's just like, bye, I'm out. And so I think Milchick, the show, brought up the idea of a throuple as a joke with Cobelvig and Mark S. But I actually think we're going to get a throuple with Gretchen G, Dylan G, and Dylan. I think we're going to actually get that throuple with this, because I think Dylan G is the Dylan that she wants, and the outside Dylan is like not
right
where she wants him to be. So I found that to be incredibly interesting.
Yeah, chat is definitely. Go ahead.
DJ Rated R said, and it's also interesting that all the Severed employees go by their full first name and the first initial if their last name. The managers go by their last names except for Natalie. Oh yeah, she's just Natalie.
Yeah. I think they're trying to keep everything discreet. I just remember that Milchick is the one they call in when they're sick. So like, and then everyone's family knows Milchick. Like them showing up at what's the sister's name, at Rick and Devin's house. Yeah, was not weird. So like, I think he's just like the people they know.
Human Help says this seems cruel to do to an Innie. It's like what they do with nannies, or how you say that? Au pairs.
Au pairs.
I don't know what that is. I'm not.
It's like a au pair is like a live-in nanny. Like the bitch goes everywhere with you.
That's what
it's
they
like
call
friend
them? I didn't know that.
Yeah, or it's like the French model, I guess. I don't know.
Ben says I thought the same thing at first. Like this is a typical family event, but that's a pretty specific photo choice. Yeah, so yeah, we got the throuple going on there. And so then we cut back to O&D. Irv and Felicia are reminiscing about Bert. And she says, I worked with Bert for 6 years. And the only time I've seen him scared when he spent 2 hours trying to do his hair before coming to visit you. I was like, look at Bert trying to get it right to go see my boy Irv.
I mean, well, we know that because we like when they found Bert in that conference room and locked him in, he was like preparing. So he really just had like a serious crush.
Irv wants to show her something. He drew a picture of Bert every day that he didn't see her. So I drew a picture of every day to remind myself of him. So he goes through her flip book, and then at the end of it, she sees a picture of the painting. He goes, oh, don't look at that. And Felicia gets serious, and she was like, what the fuck do you know about the exports hall? And Irv was like, what?
Amazing.
The exports hall?
Amazing.
And she gets real uncomfortable. She was like, yeah, we used to send a lot of shipments there. We used to even go by ourselves. But now they send a guy now. And Irv was like, interesting. You know where that shit's still at? You know where that's at?
Yeah, this is why they go out of their way to separate them, because when you start to fill in little pieces of the puzzle or have casual chit chat, you learn commonalities and you like meet solutions.
Like in Silo.
So yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love this. Yeah.
Back at Mamali and Snurchable, they got Helly and Mark surrounded. Brienne comes in arguing with somebody. Helly starts walking up to people, say, have y'all seen Mrs. Casey? Did anybody know who this woman is? And Brienne was like, if you keep this shit up, I'm gonna tell Mr. Milchick what the fuck y'all up to. And Mark says, chill out. They just disappeared her. If we let that happen to Miss Casey, what's gonna happen to us? Mark says, is one of your goats going missing? You're gonna go look for that shit, ain't you?
And she said, oh, damn, now that you put it like that, you of course.
She said, Miss Casey used to come here and do some sessions. And one of the dudes was like, Miss Casey said that my Audi was a stargazer, and that really meant a lot to me. And as far as they know, she's retired.
There's a comment earlier, like, about that meaning, like him being like what his Audi does, like being probably sleeping outside or living outside. It makes me wonder, like, are these farmers? Like, who are these people that work in MN, right? Like, where are they coming from? Are they driving into the same area and parking? Like, you know, it's just very interesting to think. Like, are they getting dressed in this outfit? They're dressing like this and going downstairs. Like, how? Like, you know, I'm just curious about that. Yeah.
And it says, as far as she was, she said, Mark, if you suspect otherwise, they will not hinder your search. And then they were like, hey, dog, before you get up out of here, though.
But before you go, we would like to see your bellies.
Our bellies.
Yes.
Please.
See? Pouchless.
Pouchless is what I want to name this episode. Oh my God.
Proves nothing.
Proves nothing. Kill me. They're like, there's still kangaroos who have a parasite that comes out of them and eats us. Is that what it was? Ridiculous.
No KS says, oh man, I'm an hour late. Hope y'all having a good night. No problem. Thanks for showing up, No KS, and we are having a great night. So yeah, that was I played that just for Chanel because she loved that scene.
The belly thing is so funny to me. Like these all these like theories they do to create just so discord.
But you know what's funny? Mark is used to that weird shit because he heard all that shit with O&D. Helena's got to be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, she's got to be like, yo, what's wrong with these people down here?
No, like, the more we're getting to know her, the more it's like, this is all probably music to her ears because they're cooking up this weird shit. And so if they're cooking this up, that means her growing up, her childhood was her childhood would be weirder than anything else we've ever seen. Because whoever's head this is coming out of is at home acting a fucking fool. Human Hope says, to be frank, this section of the episode is left me with mixed feelings. It's a little too Oompa Loompa. It's slow, too cute and weird. Like, why don't they ask him what the goats are for? I have no doubt. Yeah, I have no doubt we're going to get the goat answer, though. Like, that's what I love about this. I trust this show to get, we're going to see them again. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even maybe it's when there's an uprising, right? And maybe when they all figure out a way to turn off keep this reintegrate or whatever. But like, we'll see mammalians nurturable again.
Dylan G's Audi's crib, and that's that night, and Gretchen's leaving to go to work like she's a security guard of some sort. And she's checking in with Dylan to see if she did the chores that she asked him to do. And Dylan was like, no, I forgot. I ain't do shit. He was just sitting on the couch not doing shit. And Dylan asks, how'd the meeting go with my Innie? And Gretchen was like, oh, it was good. It was weird, but it was good. Don't forget the cookies for the baby. I'm out of here. And just left.
Yeah, she's not being forthcoming. So I do think that she wants to keep this, like, I think your theory is right. And the throuple theories are right. Like, she wants to keep him all to herself.
Then they cut to Devin's crib. And fucking Natalie's there. I was like, yo, what is she doing there? But of course, she's there with fucking Rickon. And Rickon is over the fucking moon that they love his book. She's reading the book to him, and Rickon's got this big ass smile on his face. And Devin comes in. It's like, oh, Devin, look, this is fucking Natalie from Lumen. And Devin's like, what the fuck is she doing here? And he's like, you know how my book was so popular on the 7th floor. And Devin was like, about that. How the fuck his book get down there?
Yeah, great question.
And then Rickon was like, stop all that shit. We passed that. Listen, they think that my words are very profound, and they want me to make an Innie special book so that we can give to all the Sever employees. And you know what's funny? That's probably a lot of fucking money. They're gonna basically do a books for every seventh floor they have across the world to give to them because it's profound to them. That's fucking
But
some
propaganda
great shit.
is worth the investment because they're about to fuck with their heads for real.
And Natalie's like, Devin's like, hey dog, Eleanor need a bottle. I gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm out. And then when she's leaving, Natalie was like, hey Devin, your brother is just one of our sweetest Severed members. And Natalie was like,
She's like, no, I know you, bitch. Now I know you lying.
All right then. And she leaves because she's not buying that bullshit. And then we see Mark and Devin in his basement, and she's telling him about the meeting with Natalie. And Mark's like, the fuck's she there for? She's like, well, she wasn't looking for you. She was there for Rickon because of the book. And Mark's like, God damn it, that dumbass book. Like, people like that stupid shit. And so
like,
I
that
thought
book
that was
literally
funny.
started the revolution. That's what still cracks me up about this. Like, we actually do need Rickon to write a sequel. Human Help says Natalie is seducing Rickon, stroking his ego. Do we think Rickon will eventually get severed? I'm not sure. I think it's more like Rickon will be, after saying Severance is so ethically questionable, he will help them create propaganda and think nothing of it. I think that's probably what is most likely.
So what Mark is trying to do is like sear this vision, like this picture in his eyes.
And this is when I said, oh, we're doing this in this episode? We're doing this episode 3?
But we'll get to that. So then we go back to Lumen. Milchick was finishing up some work. And I was like, this character is so fascinating because he takes that box of them dumbass pictures and he puts it in the highest possible place in the storage room where he don't ever have to look at them motherfuckers again and leaves. And I was like, good for you, Mr. Milchick. And then we see Helena, who had a long ass work day because apparently after she goes to the Severance floor, she goes upstairs and works. And she's walking out and she sees Cobelvig over there. And she walks over to Cobelvig. And we got this really interesting scene between Helena and Cobelvig.
If you want me back, you must accommodate my needs.
I'm listening.
MDR, non-negotiable. Marcus is so close to completing Cold Harbor. I intend to finish the work that I started. Which is why Milchick must go. He's not equipped for the task.
Cobelvig don't like the black man. Black man can't possibly be good enough to run the Severance floor.
This is when we're getting a little bit of success. This is a little bit of Succession. She's trying to undercut.
Must be floor manager.
I hear ego.
Helly's a master. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, whatever, they did a number on her.
Arrogance. Kier teaches us they only cause pain.
Arrogance only causes pain. That's what Kier says.
Everything I accomplished, I earned. Through dedication and industry. Not because I was born into it.
I think you've overestimated your contributions and underestimated your blessings.
That's a good line. You overestimated your contributions. I mean, you overstated your contributions and underestimated your blessings. He's speaking that good Kier book right there.
We didn't have to ask you back.
You didn't have a choice.
Are you sure? Why don't we reset? Doesn't have to be this way.
That music got scary, boy.
Natalie, please see if the board is available for Miss Cobell and myself.
They start to walk over like they're going to see the board. And then Cobelvig was like, something ain't right about this shit. I'm about to exit stage left, like Snagglepuss.
She said,
runs the opposite way.
She said, never mind. Just literally turned and ran.
Yeah, they did say reset, which is interesting because I'm under the impression that she's severed.
Right. No, she definitely is a deactivated sever. And so they 100% could reset her shit and have her severed tomorrow. One. Two, they could reset and take her memories out. Like, because remember when they went into the control room, there's different modes in that book. They can do shit to your chip. So she definitely was like, this shit ain't right. They're not fucking with me enough to do all this.
So Chanel, why do you think Cobelvig is so hell-bent on getting back to the severed floor?
It has to be related to like this. What I was thinking about is like maybe Mark. Okay, so if their whole thing they're doing is recreating people based on the connections that people who care about them have, it's probably very hard to find somebody who knows a deceased person so perfectly who's also severed, right? Like, because if that's the case, right, it has to be like you don't know who's going to sever, so you can only pick people that they know. So maybe Mark is like very special because maybe they did kill his wife so he could do this project, or maybe they just happen to have somebody who's obsessed with someone who passed away and so he can do Cold Harbor. So I feel like maybe it's just like the most promising project, maybe because they have like a perfect storm of somebody who could potentially recreate a clone that is like so specific to that real person that it's like maybe that's it. Or maybe she just had some connection to him we still truly don't know.
Yeah, I think that there's something about Mark that she's trying to get out of him, and she feels like she's the one that has to get it out of him. And that's going to somehow benefit her. I don't know how it's going to benefit her, but whatever Mark is doing is going to benefit Cobelvig, and so she wants to make sure that it happens. So I thought this scene was incredibly interesting, and like some people are saying in the chat, she froze in fear when she was walking over there. So she knew something or felt something or she's heard something, but something was just not right about that situation, and she knew it instantly and took the fuck off. And so then the final scene, we get Mark practicing the burn-in, and my girl Baaabe shows up.
Yeah, so sorry. So Mark had been, I cut you off before when you were doing this. So Mark had been taking a UV light, trying to burn a question into his retinas so that his Innie would get a message. So basically trying to like damage his eyeballs long enough that's burned to his retinas so that he could go downstairs and pass that message to his Innie. So he's literally sitting in a car, flashing lights into his eyes that say "Who's alive," which again was the title of this episode.
The chat is saying she knew who Helena's driver was, and he's dangerous somehow. I can see that. He did look a little dangerous to me.
I mean, I think he's always if it's the same bodyguard, he's always with her. So I think maybe she just realized like I feel like it could be any of the things you guys are saying, but I think overall she just recognized if I go in here with them, I might not come out the same. Because I did already get the board conversation before, but like now I've kind of crossed them. Or like I've kind of like upset them, so I don't trust anymore that like I don't know. I guess just like how can you trust a company that will sever people and punish them, torture them? Like there's never going to be a full like trust there, you know, even for somebody who has a chip in them.
And Baaabe says, "Nigga, is your dumbass trying to burn something into your retina because Google said that's how you can talk to your Innie? Idiot, that's not how that shit works."
Yeah.
And
Exactly,
then she's like banging on the door, like, let me in. And Mark's like, no, go away.
Like, yeah, he's like, no, not today. And she's literally like, get the fuck, let me in a fucking car, Mark. And I really love her for that because I'm like, I need Baaabe to come back into this season, Mark. Like, you gotta please let her in. I know you don't want to hear from her, but I need to know what she's about to tell you.
And she says, listen, there's an easier way to talk to your Innie. And I also heard about the OTC too. And she was like, oh yeah? He's like, yeah, I heard about all that shit. Listen. And she was like, yeah, my Innie was talking to my sister and told him a bunch of crazy shit. And she was like, was one of those things that your wife was still alive? And Mark was like, what? What'd you say? Is she? Is Gemma still alive? And Baaabe looked at him and she said, last time I saw her, she was. And I was like, look at this show. This show, they must have been watching Industry because they are not dragging shit out. They are like,
hold on,
we're going to answer this question. We're going to answer this question. We're going to answer this question. And they are getting to the shit.
I'm sorry. I'm so distracted. Please pull up Code Knox's last comment. Code Knox says Dr. Baaabe reminds her of Jaguar Wright. Just so raw. Do you know who Jaguar Wright is?
No, who's that?
Ooh. Oh, Brandon. Wow, we get to flip this on you. Jaguar Wright is an artist who has some very valid things to talk about because she experienced them, but is also struggling or is also going through some mental health crises, and it translates into her videos. But she has accused Rock Nation and a number of different people of doing things. And so she's not a credible source necessarily. So having her remind her of Jaguar Wright is very disrespectful. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, that's very rude.
Well, here's the thing. Do y'all trust Baaabe? What is she getting out of this?
She knows the shit ain't right.
Oh, so she's just a noble person.
What do you guys think? Because I think
she's not getting something out of this.
Wrong.
I feel like Baaabe has an end goal out of all of this shit. She's getting something out of reintegrating people. It's not just, I put the chips in them, I feel bad, I need to fix y'all. Because she be talking cash shit to these motherfuckers. It ain't like, oh, I'm so sorry, let me help you. It's like, bitch, open the fucking door.
Grainer. She killed
Grainer.
Like, she's not here to play.
After she tells Mark that, he's having a panic attack. He goes outside because he can't believe it. He goes, why didn't you tell me this shit? He's like, bitch, last time I tried to tell you this shit, the motherfucker showed up, but I had to bash his fucking head in.
Kill somebody. Yeah, like, what do you mean? I saved your fucking life. So, that's so funny though, because they did give her. You know how I hate, because we talk about this. I hate when shows like they make people miscommunicate right in front of us, and it's like, no, like, give them a chance. This was a very legitimate reason for her not to get a chance to bring up Gemma / Casey, because she had to murder somebody. So it's like, you know what? I'm gonna catch you in season 2, and I'm explaining that shit when we get there. So I do love this. And then talking about how Jaguar Wright is definitely the ultimate broken clock, because she is right every once in a while randomly. But I will say that what I loved about this is the fact that we're doing this shit in episode 3 means they're not fucking around this season. And I love when a show doesn't tease something out for 3 years, right? So and also we deserve this. We waited 3 years for a season. So that's why I was like, I was on a van watching this shit pumping air, because I'm like, this shit is, we're doing this. Let's get into this.
No KS says, yes, I trust her. DJ Rated R says she's been spilling tea. Oh, that's still my Jaguar, right? Ben Cortez said, I trust that she's a moral person.
Yeah, she comes
Code
out
Knox
credible.
says she put that raggedy magnet to Mark's head. Hell no, that's right. That's right.
She did the thing of it go, she go, okay, now what's your sign? Okay.
DJ Rated R says, I think she's trying to expose Lumen for what they are doing. Okay. She may have been personally burned by Lumen, and it's a vengeance angle. Code Knox says she still works for Lumen. Interesting.
I think that's what I think Brandon wants to hear these theories, because we want to cover our ground, but that would be the most diabolical thing. And the only way she would work for Lumen is if she's working for the board and Cobelvig doesn't know it. Because remember,
no, she's working with Cobelvig.
But Cobell was big in the severed floor of going after her. Like her and Ragabi
Well, no,
would
he
talk
wasn't
about
going
it.
after Ragabi. She wanted to know how reintegration was working and who was doing that shit.
Right, but then remember there was a time when Grainer came to her door and she was like, "Go find her. I don't give a fuck." Like,
no, he was like, "Do you want to come
was.
with me?" And she said, "No, you go."
He's exactly, but I'm saying like she was saying go. Like she wasn't trying to protect her, or she didn't give her a heads up or nothing. It was like, I don't think she actually is working with her. I think she's more just like I think she cares about Lumen ultimately, so Cobelvig. And so I think she wants to know about reintegration to save her company. Like, because the fact that the bitch got fired and still went and jumped on Helly and tackled her to stop her from exposing the company means that like she's committed to this mission in some kind of weird way. So I would be so surprised if she was doubling back.
No KS says, first of all, she's one of the very few black women on the show. I believe her. You know, I'm with you, no KS. Chanel don't trust black women. Okay. She thinks,
Brandon, you take this joke. That's too far. What? That joke is too far.
I've seen how you talk about. I've seen how you talk about the housewives. I've seen which housewives you align with. Okay. When your favorite housewife is Phaedra Parks, then you clearly don't trust black women. Okay.
He's trying to upset me, you guys. Brandon doesn't know there is a such thing as too far, and the too far is bashing Beyonce and making.
When did I bash Beyonce?
I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you know so you know if we ever get to that point.
I never would do such a thing.
The other one is making listeners think I'm anti-black, like, which is a joke, but I'm not anti-black women. I was actually in my head thinking I trust Ragabi because she's black, but I didn't want to go there. I was just trying to let everybody enjoy the chat. The chat said that, and I actually agree.
Just know
you.
If you had to say, I'm not anti-black, I trust black women, guess who would say that? I just want to know, who does that sound like?
Seems like Cobell's mom died from breathing tubes and was severed like Gemma. Oh, which brought her back to life and maybe erased her memories.
Ragabi's a stone cold killer. We need to see more people interact with her. How does she just pop out in front of Mark's car like that? Yeah.
And
was she following Mark? Yeah, what's she up to?
That's a good point. Yep. Keep going. You have another comment that's just for you.
Is she working for Lumen and then Ragabi made life hell for Cobelvig by killing Grainer?
Yeah, that's what I think. That's the one piece of proof we have. Seemed like Cobell's mom died from breathing tubes. You said that.
I had a little Beyonce slander earlier.
Yes, you did. Because you did not get hyped about that tour.
All I said was, I don't like culture vultures. That's all I said. That's all I said.
Guys, okay, my girls understand. My girls get where I'm feeling right now. If somebody didn't win a single Source Award, right? They went to the Source Awards in '96. They didn't win no Source Awards, and they show up to the Grammys and they get Rap Album of the Year. We all know what that's about. We all know Brandon,
what that's about.
You're joking too much. This is not.
We all know what that's about.
Buddy. Oh my God. You're taking it too far. I make jokes.
I'm just saying, you go to the Country Music Awards, you don't win nothing. You go to the Grammys, you win Best Country Album. I don't know what. If it was the Source Awards, you'd be saying something different.
If I didn't know this man for years, we would end the podcast right here. If I thought this was really how he felt about things, we would not be able to work together. So just know he's ultimately trolling. Okay, so Cobell pursued Ben. This is what you'll get from this show. We're gonna change subjects and come right back. That's why Cobell pursues the Mark Gemma dynamic to figure out how to restore her relationship with her mom. That is great. I hope this is a theory and not confirmed. I hope like you don't know what you're talking about. I hope you are really just in the groove and you're just prophesizing. That would be amazing. Okay, so welcome to the chat. To people, I'm trying to figure out if we're being trolled or if Ben Stiller was in Madagascar.
I think he might have been.
Okay, I'm gonna allow it. Okay.
Hold on, we got one more scene. We got to get to before I forget. So He says there's only one way to get in there, reintegration. Mark's like, yes, I'm in. And so they go into his crib, and Mark's like, I'm down. And then we got this incredible reintegration scene.
The monitors differentiate the 5 brainwave frequencies of the Innie and Audi. Delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma. One frequency...
Delta, alpha, beta, gamma, delta. That for the Greek girlies, that got me hyped. I was like, okay, you better run your letters.
2 waves per oscilloscope. The waves aren't in sync. Not yet, anyway. That's what we're here to do. Lean forward.
Is it gonna hurt?
Ideally not. What does your mouth taste like?
Nothing.
Good.
What does your mouth taste like? What kind of question is that?
Well, is he tasting blood? Like, she's probably like, if you start tasting blood or metal, I did something wrong.
What the fuck?
Shit.
This is his hand was shaking like crazy. And I was like, yeah, that's not a good sign, buddy. That ain't a good sign.
You all right?
I don't know, am I?
I'm going to start with easy questions and get more complex. Do you remember protocol?
Is that the first question?
No, we haven't started yet.
Yes, I remember.
Relax your body. You should feel good when this is over. Who am I?
Okay, so
We started. Who am I?
Saul Baaabe.
Where are we?
My basement.
What was your mother's name?
Mark's Audi is such a fucking, like, I don't even know how to explain it. He's like such a like, he doesn't give a fuck about anything anymore. Like, he's just like, yeah.
I mean, I will say this, that is relevant. Human Help just had a comment about, like, why wouldn't he go to Devin and tell her, like, because he could have died on the table. But I would just say in general that Mark's core motivator right now is the Gemma question. And it's like, he probably severed to stay alive, right? Like, I'm not sure, he probably did not want to be alive for a while. So it's like his will to live is not going to supersede his desire to know what happened to Gemma. So I think he probably feels in a way where, like, if I could see her again once, that'd be worth losing my fucking mind and ending up in a robe in a gas station with my nose bleeding. Like, it's worth it to him.
Fern Scout.
What was her eye color? Seriously?
Brown. Brown.
Did you love her?
Yeah.
Name a dam.
Hoover.
I was so hyped during this whole scene. I was so hyped during this whole scene. Oh my God.
What?
MDR.
Mystic.
That's wrong. What is something for which you feel shame? Shame.
My dog died when I was a kid. It was my fault.
Why?
I left the gate open.
Where were you born?
I'm not sure.
What month is it?
You mean what quarter?
That's when it flipped. You mean what quarter? I was like, look at this. I was very excited.
Oh, I love that. I'm saying this shit got me hyped. Like, this got me hyped like a football game. I was like, let's fucking go. We're about to be integrated. Nobody saw this coming this early in season 2. Nobody thought that we'd finish the mid arc of the season, he'll be integrated potentially. And I also was like, God damn, will Mark die? Like, would they kill Mark? So anyway, I'm like very excited about this. Couple comments real quick. Ben Cortez has a theory that his handshake. Well, so we think like the handshaking could have been like she fucked something up in his brain and she's like, oops, let me turn this down. Ben Cortez said it could have 100% been Mark's Innie being brought to the surface too quickly and took control of his body. Human Help is really concerned because Devin needs to know what's happening because like she, you know, like Mark needs people to be checking on him. That's true. Because if Mark died right here in this little basement, what the fuck would anybody be able to do about it? Ben also says the 4 circles or tempers are identical to what was shown in the images of Gemma's Cold Harbor case. Exactly. Like they're definitely trying to like balance out tempers, I think. We've talked about that. And then Mark says that the Code Knox says Mark's drunk daddy probably left that gate open. So let that hurt go, Mark. You can heal. And then Human Help says this part was sheer sci-fi storytelling bliss. Totally agree. It's such a great scene. Sorry, keep going. I'm so excited.
Wait.
What is your first memory?
I don't know.
Tell me.
I don't.
Tell me.
I don't remember.
Tell me your first memory.
Hey there. You on the table? I wonder if you'd mind taking a brief survey. 5 questions. To start out, who are you?
What a great way to end the episode. What a great way to end the episode.
Let's fucking go. That's all I'm on now. I'm like, we have an integrated Mark. So even if this man dies at the end of the season, we got at least 6 episodes of him fucking shit up. And if anybody's caustic, dry ass is gonna be able to sniff out Helly, it's gonna be him. Because he's gonna be like, who the fuck is you trying to kiss me? And it's gonna be she's not gonna be able to use that love angle no more. I
love this episode so much. So much.
Code Knox said, by the way, the lady was just matching lines with a magnet. That's why Peter did.
I mean, that's what she was doing.
She definitely did kill her first client. And it goes, look, I've been practicing. It's literally like somebody gives you a fucked up haircut and you don't want to give them a chance game. They're like, no, I promise I've been at home doing it on my dolls. Like, I'm
worse
good.
Than that. She was playing with salt. She got yellow in her braids. She probably put sea moss in everything. I guarantee you she got sea moss all throughout her house.
Oh, so now you're bringing up stereotypes of holistic Black women. Interesting.
That's right. Why I gotta be Black women? The people who sell sea moss at my farmer's market is a Black man. They be trying to sell me all types of other shit too.
Right. I am not going to. Sea moss is ours. I really do.
If it was a Black woman joke, I would have said shea butter, but I didn't say that because I respect Black women. Unlike you telling the sea moss to it. I was making a Dr. Umar joke.
That's crazy.
Mr. Umar.
Guys, we have an episode of some show where Brandon said he doesn't recognize Dr. Umar's fake PhD. And to this day, I've been trying to find this damn clip because it's one of the funniest things Brandon's ever said to me. I to this day, I think might laugh. If anybody is going back through our old episodes and finds that Dr. Umar moment, please share it with me and clip it. Because like we need clips, first of all. I forget to say this every episode. We are looking for people to help with clips and editing, so let us know. But that is one of my favorite moments of all time. Like if we ever did like a greatest hits, that would be on there. The haircut analogy was perfect. Thank you, Code Knox. Node KS says, was that her first client? She might be a murderess. Yeah, like if Mark goes down too, it's not gonna literally she's like how they used to do lobotomies without giving people like anesthesia. You know what I mean? Like she's definitely doing old school medicine right now. But I think she's right. Like PD didn't listen. Like she probably told PD, okay, you need 2 weeks of bed rest, take this medicine every day at 6 a.m. And PD probably threw that shit out the window and started drinking bourbon. You know what I mean? So I'm
he
like,
was living in the greenhouse. So we can't trust what was going on with him.
So exactly, like I don't know what's good with him, but because I'll tell you this, not one doctor is gonna be like, hey, go ahead and live out in the cold and wear a robe. That'll be fine.
Thank you all for listening. We'll be back. Chanel, are you back next week, or is next week when I have to get a guest?
Oh, we did a Monday stream last week, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's Black History Month, baby. I'm here. We're mid-February though. Speaking of Black History Month is when I'm gonna fuck the whole schedule up. So later in the month, guys, I may or may not be here. At some point, I will be in Asia, and that's all. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it work, but we will figure this out.
Notice what she said. So thank you all for listening and participating in the chat. We appreciate all the chats that we get. It really makes us feel
we love you
special.
guys. It makes it so fun. Yeah, like I like
fun.
talking to Brandon, but having you guys here when he's gaslighting me is wonderful. It's so helpful. And then also like starting to see names in the chat every week, like literally warms my freaking heart. So I just want to say again, thank you to Tommy Franklin, Code Knox, Teddy Weathers, DJ Rated R, Human Help popped up later. We got some new listeners, some new chatters this week. So shout out to, hold on, I'm coming around. Shout out to Ben Cortez, who is the GOAT. Felipe Cabrera popped in at some point. And Hope Not what?
Code
the
Knox.
GOAT. Yeah, correct. Code Knox. I thought you were saying you hope he's not a goat, like a reference to the show. Sorry. Yeah. Code Knox, but didn't say you, shout out. You were hilarious. And I'm sure I said DJ Rated R. So anyway, we had a great chat this week. I know KS. We love interacting with you guys. We will be back. I think you wanted to do don't you want to do Sundays? Friday the 7th.
But we don't have to. We can figure that off air. I wanted to do Fridays for Severance, and then in a couple weeks when White Lotus starts, do our regular Monday for White Lotus. Because we're gonna be doing 2 shows, guys. 2 shows. So Mel committed to it. And we just found out Righteous Gemstones. We Was Righteous is coming back in March, right after White Lotus. So we get back-to-back Walton Goggins. Walton Goggins and White Lotus. Walton Goggins.
I'm so excited about that.
Righteous Gemstones.
I'm ready for Fallout, to be honest with you. But okay, just to be clear, because I do want people here to know when to come back. We cannot do Friday night, so we might do Saturday. Is Saturday possible, Brandon?
Yes.
Then we'll see you guys Saturday night. You get a little break. Make sure you watch the episode beforehand. If you get bored, go back and watch our other seasons. If you haven't listened to the podcast, go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review, 5 stars, write something out. If you want to do that shit on Spotify, do it wherever. Just link us, like us, share us. We are trying to kind of build out the social media. I struggle with it, but we're getting there. So thank you to everybody on Twitter and on Blue Sky who encourages us every week or pings us about the show. We love it. I was just getting on to X to just like check our notifications, and I just want to tell you before we go what just popped up on my screen.
What?
Marvel Studios is reportedly considering bringing back Jonathan Majors as Kang.
I know you're excited about that. I know that made your day. Look at you. Your boy is back. We got the proof on the podcast, by the way. Go listen to our earlier episodes of the thirst trapping Chanel had for Jonathan Majors. It's all throughout our old shows. Go back and listen to it.
Oh God.
Go back and listen to it.
We're gonna see. Cause I will say, I think that like I do believe in deplatforming and I do believe in canceling, but they recorded a lot of movies with that man. Like that man was I'm pretty sure they had done the whole series. So I'm like, if they want to bring it back, that would make sense for me. Okay, sorry. Oh, I need to do words of encouragement. Okay. Oh, I forgot about that.
They want you to say some bullshit to end the show. They just saying it to you nice.
DJ Rated R is down to help. Thank you, Ben, for subscribing. Okay, just I miss Righteous. Okay, the chat is getting excited about Righteous Gemstones. We will recap White Lotus. Okay, I'm gonna try to use Blue Sky. You're right. Thank you both. Okay, here's my words of wisdom. Your Innie needs different words than your outie, but I'll just say for you outies, like, you know, honestly, when people give you balloons, you should appreciate them because that is a gesture. And so when your company gives you handouts that are offensive, you should be grateful because at least you have a job. And I am pro Lumen this week, and I'm being very organic and genuine right now.
Thank you all for listening. Talk to y'all next